Ayo, what is up everyone? It is the ALPHAJ of the ALPHAJ Show, and just like with the last video, today we are going to count down the top 10 worst cartoon episodes of 2017. As with the last video, one series per main entry on the episode. Sure, one series may have multiple entries on this list, but only one of them will be a main entry. The rest would be honorable mentions. So let's get into it. Number 10.
Was just virtual.
Ha!
You may be a simulated champ, but real wrestling is a totally different thing. You'd have to practice and work hard every day before you'd be ready. You'd be hard-pressed to win a real match at your present size. Well, good night, kids.
The Ringleader, Ben 10. So I wanted to start off with an episode I reviewed called The Ringleader. Honestly, the episode had good intentions, but I haven't seen such a terrible execution with such a basic and easy to do concept. I've seen other episodes use this exact same concept and not mess it up the way that Ben 10 had. I did not enjoy the hypocrisy in the episode, and the way they used the audience to sway the opinion of what was originally wrong annoyed me greatly. I'm on the side of cartoons not having to make logical sense or have an overarching moral, but when you present me with one thing and then totally switch it at the end to try to make it work, you deserve to be called out on that. And that's one of my biggest pet peeves anyway, hypocrisy. Obviously, it wasn't too bad, so it's very low on my list, but still deserves to be there. Number 9.
This is odd. I guess I'm going this way.
See? It's gonna save my precious ant farm from Marsha's klutzing.
K is for KLUTZ, DILLEY'S Super-Duper Subterranean Summer. I don't really hear about bad or mediocre Disney XD shows. I mean, sure, they exist, but I rarely see as many videos as I do with DuckTales, Star Vs, or even Milo Murphy's Law. Now DILLEY appears to be a very generic paint-by-numbers show, and what interests me the most was the creator, as the creator is a veteran within the industry. However, he seems to use a lot of tried and true tricks in this episode, K is for KLUTZ. And never once do I feel like this episode would be worth watching, even for the quote-unquote comedy. You honestly would get better comedy from any other show on any other network. I would rather watch Pickle and Peanut, because at least they are upfront with how they operate, whereas here, it seems like no one is aware of the fact that they tread the line with the paint-by-numbers attitude. Of course, you would think that you would hurt her by telling her she's a klutz. Of course she's upset that you didn't come sooner. I'd say this is worse than shows like the POWERPUFF reboot or Rocket Monkeys, but at least the former was attached to an interesting idea, and the latter wasn't written by a guy who's worked on shows from many of our childhoods. Number 8.
Peridot, give her a second.
She's doing it to herself. Pumpkin, do as you're told. Ah!
Whoa, Peridot. Sounds like you don't really want to go.
Raising the Barn, Steven Universe. Suggested by my community tab, Raising the Barn is a perfect example of having a set formula to make an episode appear good, but having so much wrong when looking at it in a critical point of view, it's actually hot garbage. Now, as far as cinematography and the dialogue for the most part, it seems okay, but let's take a closer look for a brief moment. The episode is quite empty, and it suffers from the exact same problem as K is for KLUTZ. One character goes to extreme lengths to not tell another character something. But unlike DILLEY, this show isn't intended to be primarily comedy, so a lot of it is just waiting and feeling bad. And I'm not sure about you, but I don't think 7-year-olds like waiting or feeling bad. There's tons of filler, and Lapis seems so uninspired in this episode. Hell, even Steven feels like a side character to his own show. Honestly, it's probably the worst in the season that I've seen so far, but who knows? Maybe the later episodes will prove me wrong. Number 7. Goodbye Krabby Patty, SpongeBob. I'm very appreciative that my audience respects my unpopular opinion on disliking this episode. I know a lot of people enjoy this episode, and feel free to let me know if you do in the comments below. I totally don't mind discussing about it. Goodbye Krabby Patty is a mishmash of other episodes that worked a lot better with a smaller time frame. Although some jokes were spot on, it feels like this special was anything but. I've seen most of it before, and even if you were to take into account the years that SpongeBob has been on, even if I didn't know about the previous episode, episodes, the story still has tons of problems in it. It has a lot of issues with not being able to handle the amount of time given to it without resorting to a lot of unnecessary choices, such as having Squidward quit just to come back, or the entire Plankton arc, which could have been written out entirely. I thought the big shot boss was paint by numbers, and the baby saying social networking, coming from a show that rarely even uses a telephone, says miles beyond anything I could say. It's not a good special, and it's the worst of SpongeBob in 2017. Number 6. TV Night 2, Teen Titans Go. I didn't like this concept the first time, and I don't like this concept the second time. TV Night is essentially Batman watching a low-rent robot chicken. The reason this is so low on the list is because it isn't really damaging. A lot of people already don't like or don't watch Teen Titans Go, so it's not like a lot of people would have seen this or would have been hyped to watch an episode like this, at least from what I've seen. I think it's just a lazy concept. They could have taken any of the sketches they did in this episode and turned it into an actual story that people would want to come back to. Why would someone want to watch TV Night or TV Night 2 again? Now, granted, the Batman thing went a lot further in this, but it isn't even that funny to me. It's just a thing that happens, and it's designed to waste your time for 11 minutes until the next episode of Teen Titans Go airs. Oh, and let's talk about the music. For God's sake, talk about playing the short-term game. The songs were so out of place for a show like this, but when I take into account the fact that Teen Titans Go has absolutely no core beyond doing super stuff for fun, I guess I can't really blame them. Number 5.
What are you looking at, Kurt? Give me your lunch.
But, you already took it.
How to Save a Princess, My Knight and Me. My Knight and Me is boring. My Knight and Me is boring.
My Knight and Me is boring.
Number 4.
Dude, you gotta do something. Try a double punch kick. No, a triple kick punch. Spin kicks. It's all about spin kicks. I don't know about all that. All I know is spin kicks, right? Okay, so kick, no, punch, no,
Blister Sister and Breaking Bliss Powerpuff Girls 2016. Yes, there is a tie for this, and the reason is simple. The main problem I have with the Power of 4 is actually kind of split into these two episodes specifically. Originally, when I watched the special, I watched it as one smooth run through. So I can't say that the special is bad, but I can't say it's good either. Yes, the Bliss moment was on the best of 2017 as well. The reason I didn't like this is because of the fact that they keep on repeating the exact same thing over and over and over again with this boring and ineffective villain. Each time, the girls try to mold Bliss into essentially an older them, and when they fight, said stretch translates into Bliss and Bliss blows up, leading to all of them apologizing. The first time, okay, pretty good. The second time, fine, I'll give you a second chance. Third and fourth, that's pretty much filler at that point. So there's your tie for this video. Number 3.
Don't say, I'm a hunter of beasts myself, and hot guys. But I guess I'm out of luck right now.
Where'd you get the zingers, mother?
You live with your mother? Kelsey Priest.
You're a pretentious little number. Let's agree to openly hate each other and stay out of my way while I'm hunting fairies!
As long as they're off the street, I don't care who bags them. But Bunsen's mine!
Deal!
Beast of Friends. Bunsen is a beast. I tried to give Bunsen is a beast a fair shot, but when I saw this episode, I knew for a fact that not only was I not going to like it, but think it was one of the worst episodes of the year and the series. It's most definitely top 3 material, and I don't want to go into too much detail for fear that I'll go into another 20+ minute rant, so bear with me. Pun. The entire episode has a lot of running jokes that seem a lot less like proper running jokes that have varying levels of intensity and purpose, giving them variation, and more like a way to streamline bland episodes to act as flashy colors and movements to distract children. The entire reason why Cosmo and Bunsen know each other seems like it was composed within 5 seconds because no one really cares about the lore, despite people really loving the Butch Hartman line of cartoons pre-season 10 of Fairly Odd Parents. The entire side plot of Angelica and Crocker seems so soul-drenching and uninspired that if you were to look up the definition of lost potential, their portraits would be on the left and right sides of the definition. The entire episode is absolutely terrible, and I might make a video on it because this is the second time when I go back to a show and the next group of episodes I watch is actually worse than the first group. Number 2.
We're going to the beach tomorrow?
Ooh, gosh, sorry, son, not you. Someone could get attacked by a shark.
Or caught in a riptide. Or stung by a jellyfish. If that happens, I call peeing on the wound. Come on, you guys. Be reasonable. You're bad luck, Lincoln. You can't come.
No Such Luck, The Loud House. Surprise! No Such Luck struck a chord with me, and I would have talked about it sooner, but I decided to save it for a project that actually fell through. No Such Luck is a terrible episode of The Loud House, which features the concept of bad luck spread via the paranoia of the Loud family. There's a lot of moments in this which I don't like. I don't like that the parents joined in. I think that's a big no-no, and it's one of the biggest reasons why the vibe for this episode is quite uncomfortable. I don't like the scene where Lincoln is sticking his head through a dog door, and Lola essentially disowns him in the family while his parents watch. I don't like the cookie cutter plea that Lincoln has to give. I don't like how Lynn essentially threatens Lincoln in the beginning. A lot of this episode screams, I get where you're going, but step back and see how terrible this episode looks from a bigger picture. Easily one of the worst episodes of The Loud House. What makes it come in second, ahead of Bunsen is a Beast? Well, because the Loud crew know better. This actually proves that they can be a lot more ruthless with each other than Gumball or Teen Titans Go, in which how all the characters can just snap on each other in an instant, and I don't want to have that said feelings while watching a cartoon. And now, for honorable mentions and community picks that I decided to put into this video.
You kids must be famished. It's grub time.
Pizza and fries! Blood oranges.
No, I mean actual grubs.
We are rock people. Also, don't say rock people, it's offensive.
Rock people are different, obviously. For starters, they have rocks embedded in their bodies.
Like this?
But they can summon weapons from the mud dimension. No, you're not getting it. They can alter their forms. That's how they trick humans into loving them. Oh, wait a second.
Awards satisfy our irrational need to be validated by being given a statue based on completely arbitrary metrics.
What? They're about to give the award to the person who is best in a specific category.
Ooh, I hope the person we want to win wins the award for being best in their specific category.
Yo, if the person we wants to win doesn't win, I'ma lose my mind!
I am getting the mad just thinking about how unfair it is that the person I want to win in a specific category can do the losing to the someone I believe to be less qualified.
I'm level 100?
Did you say you're level 100?
Level 100?
100?
Whoa!
Are you serious, KO?
A level 100? No way.
Yes way?
All right then, prove it. Show us your POW card.
It's like a way higher level than anyone else in the plaza.
You're even more powerful than Gar. Yeah, you're right. I'm more powerful than, well, everybody.
And the worst episode of 2017 goes to...
It was all worth it now that I know about FairyCon! I'll sneak inside and catch every fairy in Fairy World!
Hi, Timmy. Hi, Chloe. Hi, weird kids with wings. Time to fix the fridge. And by fix it, I mean weld it shut and drag it down the street behind my car. Ooh, I forgot an important step. First, I have to beat it vigorously with a baseball bat.
Well, that happened. I'm still hungry.
FairyCon, Fairly Odd Parents. It has been a year since I've talked about season 10 of Fairly Odd Parents, and it isn't the time yet to speak fully about it, so here's what I will say. Everything, and I mean everything, is the opposite of good in this episode. The sound design is terrible. The switch to flash animation was terrible. The fact that Chloe is the sole reason they win in the end of the episode is terrible. The running gags that soil this already soiled episode is terrible. The fact that Timmy can hear Crocker on the other side of the door, but Crocker can't hear Timmy, despite them using the exact same volume, is terrible. The fact that Timmy is a side character to his own show, still after Girly Squirrely, is terrible. The fact that Cosmo is so lazy, making both him and Wanda lose their wands, is terrible. The fact that every episode I've seen so far of season 10 of Fairly Odd Parents, and the crossover with Bunsen is a Beast, has a gag of them losing their wands is terrible. The fact that Chloe has to yell about everything is terrible. The fact that Chloe sings a song about about never quitting is terrible. The fact that this reads as a 12-year-old fan fiction is terrible. The fact that Crocker seems so paint by numbers with catching fairies is terrible. The fact that Timmy's dad point blank sees Timmy's floating fairies is terrible. The fact that we still haven't seen a good chunk of the characters we've come to know and love is terrible. The fact that they kept the theme song, the new theme song, is terrible. The fact that Cosmo is still brain dead is terrible. Everything, and I mean everything, about this episode is terrible. And this is my way of saying that the entirety of the 2017 run of season 10 of Fairly OddParents is terrible, and without competition, is the worst thing to come out of 2017 by far. Anyway, agree with the list, disagree with the list, let me know in the comments down below. I do have another pair of videos coming out soon. It's essentially going to be the best of what I reviewed past review 50. So anything from 51 to what I reviewed all the way up to December 31st of 2017 is eligible for that list. I'm going to be doing the best and the worst. Until then, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Follow me at the ALPHAJ Show and go to my request video for any requests that you have that isn't in the pinned tweet. If you really like this video, I highly suggest watching my top best of 2017. Make sure to subscribe and feel free to consider my Patreon as always. I hope your time was well spent, and Alpha out.